And welcome. This is Dave White sitting in for the one and only Tom O'Brien. We're going to kind of try to do these occasionally, which is a Tech Insider Hour on Fridays when things are kind of winding to a close and not much is going on out here. A good time to sit down and think about maybe more macro issues affecting technology. You, of course, can always check out my Tech Insider newsletter on the front page of TFNN. It is a weekly. It's fairly inexpensive, and I have some big wins in that thing for one that comes out and is priced so affordably. As always, we want to check out the markets as we start. Today, up 17 points on the S&P cash, but that is not the whole story. The story is the volume that comes in on this, and so far it has been rather light. If you listen to Tom, he talks about the New York Stock Exchange floor traded volume. I use the what is called the New York Stock Exchange consolidated tape. That is everything that trades that's listed on the New York Stock Exchange and the Amex. So if you actually just X'd out the volume from the NASDAQ, all the shares that traded, the volume would be in it. It's a little bigger sample size, includes all the volume from the dark pools. The New York Stock Exchange is close enough that it does not matter. It's just that this is a lot more affordable feed and really is no big deal. But you need to know not to compare apples to oranges. We are at all-time highs. Probably will close here. I'm not saying that we won't. I will tell you that the warning light is on, the red light is on, and that is because we are busting these highs with lighter volume. Volume has been light all day long. It has not really accelerated. 2.6 billion shares on the New York consolidated tape. As we break this high, I would be looking for a minimum of 4.5 billion by the end of the day and much more, thinking that we are looking around the 5 billion shares. So we are just a hair off of 50% of what I would think is a rousing endorsement for breaking these highs. Does this mean that the market can't even tick a little bit higher? No, I think you could probably get up to 2,100. It may just kind of tick and slip up here. So if you're talking about jumping in front of a steamroller to pick up some dollars, I think you can do that, but that is an adequate description of the risk reward. Pick up your dollars, just do not fall in front of that steamroller. For me, I'm much more interested in sitting back and waiting for a very nice fastball right down the center of the plate, which I suspect that we are going to get. One of the reasons is so many stocks that are out there testing triple tops with a light volume today, very light volume in the individual stocks, very light volume in the ETFs and the bigger indexes too. And some of these are going to be much, much more vulnerable to the downside than the overall market. So again, most of my calls are probably, in my positions, probably will not be index positions. If they were, they would probably be something like the IWM. But we'll talk about that as it moves on. As always, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com, and I will be glad to answer your questions via email. Again, if we can, we'll kind of push this to the more macro of the side of technology, maybe a little bit bigger picture. We've got already a question in. We got a couple in the email, and I look forward to maybe someone's bright, smiling voice over the phone. We were talking in the previous hour about where was that out here? Let me find it. What was the name of that company again? Oh, HDP. And I said we'd start talking about this one in this hour. One of the big themes in investing this year in the Tech Insider is going to be machine learning. Part of that, and a sector of that is called big data. The big money probably not in big data. the databases that actually work with huge amounts of all kinds of data. Now, Microsoft, or not Microsoft, Google, and Microsoft to a part, but these companies that have big data already pretty much are building things for themselves inside. Facebook, everybody wants to be able to get to it. Amazon, they want to know from that data what you're going to buy, what you're thinking about buying, what you might buy, what they can sell you. Basically, it's all about parting with a few dineros. Hortonworks is kind of like Red Hat is to Linux. Linux is free. It's a free operating system based on Unix. Hortonworks does support, just like Red Hat does support for Linux, on a thing called Hadoop. And Hadoop is a free database that's maintained somewhat by Hortonworks, but by just about anybody that wants to get involved in the project. And this is all about working with huge, vast amounts of data. Anytime you get anything technical, of course, there are smaller databases. I have one on the machine that I'm coming to you from right now. It's a little small database. What is it, about 8 gigabytes big? It's not very big, but it takes a fraction of the power that this machine runs on. And I can get data anytime I want from it, and it really doesn't slow down the machine. But when you're talking about terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of data, and of course, every day another terabyte of data, if you're Amazon or if you're Google or the rest of them, being able to go through a great deal of this is horrifically problematic. Most of the time, it's because memory, and the memory of a computer is probably the slowest thing that you can get. Intel is trying to solve that with their new memory initiative, and we'll really see a great deal more of that come this fall and after the first of the year, where they're going to put on massive amounts of memory inside the processor itself. So you might be able to put those terabytes of data literally on the same chip with the processor. When you're going through all these huge databases, there's a lot to be had out here. Anyway, Hortonworks is down today. But if you want to compare this to something, think about Red Hat Linux. It's Hortonworks and Hadoop, their support of a public domain database for vast amounts of data. We'll be back after this.